Welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is HeroQuest, and this is my very beat-up copy of Star Viking, a game designed by Arnold Hendricks from 1981, published by Dwarf Star Games. Arnold Hendricks has created a multitude of legendary board and video games, not the least of which is Barbarian Prince. Now, in my recently somewhat restored box, it looks like I'm going to have to give the same treatment to Star Viking. Raiding vessels sweep across the star systems to loot glittering worlds, as the undermanned Federate squadrons do their best to wield the planetary defense fortresses and local militias into a cohesive force capable of resisting the star-born barbarian plunderers. Star Viking is a game of interstellar raiding and plunder for 2 players, featuring combat in deep space, on asteroids, star cities, and planetary surfaces. Vessels sweep across the star systems to loot glittering worlds. In system after system, dark cruisers materialize from hyperspace, launching a cloud of fighters to vaporize the local in-system patrol boats. Then comes the savage plunder of whole planets by power-suited raiding parties and grav armor detachments. That sounds awesome. Scattered thinly across the Outrim sector, the frigates of the Federate squadron desperately deploy, attempting to weld the undermanned planetary defenses and low-tech local militias into a cohesive force capable of resisting the starborn horror from beyond the rim, the coming of the Star Vikings. Using a unique system of 12 map board tiles to represent the various star systems in the Outrim sector, it captures the tense uncertainty and the sudden flashing battles of an interstellar war. Units represented include Viking cruisers, sloops, and fighters, Federate and local frigates, battle cruisers, and patrol boats, as well as raiding detachments, security forces, grav armor units, specialized warfare pods, and conventional low-tech armed forces ranging from atmospheric aircraft to Stone Age hordes. The play level is intermediate. We're not going to be playing it today on the channel. I just want to do an unboxing and check out the components included from this game that is older than I am. I will probably replace the Ziploc bag. Tool room. Yes it is. Yes it is. A good citizen always tells the truth, right? Right. This is all games needed to be back then. Your instruction manual, your world on which to play, and all the tiles, tokens, and chits needed to represent absolutely everything on the board. From your player characters and armies, to places and the states of things. They're not double-sided. None of this stuff is. I'm just glad in 1981 we had the technology to print on both sides of the paper. We have some sheets in the manual that are not stapled to the manual, including plunder tables and a combat table, a Star Viking strategic display, the Viking home base with a wealth of 10, and the time record track/display, as well as the economic summary, detailing victory points, repairs, and new construction costs. Unlike Barbarian Prince, this is not going to be a manual that you will flip through in order to progress the game. This is all rules, and it's pretty rules dense. I would like to look at the star systems here before we go any further. Actually, I will look at the anatomy of the star system cards in the manual as we go further. We have the technology level, which is A for this card here, representing Dozer. This is the name of the star system. These tiles represent deep space, which is inner orbit. There are 4 of them on this card. You could count. I just needed to, as the host, I have to point out the number of, never mind. The average wealth, which is 20 in this case. The atmospheric sector, if we're looking at a planet, there would be 2 atmospheric sectors on this planet. There are 5 on Tiergan 6 here. There are 10 on Udimu 4, and there are 14 on Unig 2. The system capital is represented by this asterisk, and I would guess that there's not a capital whenever we're looking at like just a cluster of space station and asteroids, which tracks. But on one of these planet cards, the capital is clearly defined. Many of these places will have combat modifiers, such as Attack 2. Here we see a Defense -1 and a Defense -2 from Old Star City 2. This is New Star City 1. Great naming conventions. Look, we didn't suddenly rename Mexico to Old Mexico once New Mexico existed. There's not an Old York. What are you guys doing? Then again, this is set 2,000 years in the future, so maybe we did figure out naming conventions along the way. We have an EW+1 on both of these trailing asteroid spaces. I'm not sure what that means as of yet. This is a heavily fortified planet. We've got +1 defenses all over the place here. On Horus 4, sounds heretical. These non-planet sectors are called vacuum sectors, which basically just means that they are in space. They are in the deep vacuum of the void of space where no one can hear you scream. There is also a sector wealth code. We looked at the average wealth, wealth D, D, C, and E. D, E, C, E, no wealth codes on the other 4 sectors. Probably means they're not worth raiding. The technology level indicates the type of local defense allowed. Local defenses, must be equal to the technology level or 1 level less. It's rated from A to D. A is interstellar technology, B is interplanetary only, C is atmospheric and industrial, similar to Terra in the mid-20th century, and D is atmospheric and pre-industrial, similar to ancient or medieval Terra, or even earlier, such as the Stone Age cultures. These half-inch square counters indicate damage to units that can withstand simple hits. The markers are placed underneath the unit to which they apply. In a case where a unit has suffered multiple hits, there are 2-hit and 3-hit markers. Are there? Ah, yes. The 2-hit and 3-hit, and you know what? I like those. Finally, we have unit counters. Well, not finally, but I would like to move on to the map composition. This sort of thing was pretty common back in this era. You had a lot of information represented densely on a small game component, and you were meant to mentally compartmentalize how all of this was supposed to work in unison so that you could strategically place, play, and plan your pieces. That was very alliterative. That's the most alliterative thing I've said all week and will say for the rest of the month. Look closely. No. Closer. Closer. Tell my mom I love her. Blech. This is the technology level unit. It is a B, the letter. This middle 3, surrounded by parentheses, is the cargo capacity or cargo space of the unit, and then the unit type abbreviation is over here. This is a GA. We do have definitions and explanations. A GA is grav armor or flying tanks. That's great. I love that. I really appreciate that they have the symbols here on this page as well. The sector operations code is here. It is a V, and the 453 in the corner indicates actually this is 3 values. This isn't a 453. The 4 is the electronic warfare or EW value, and that is the modifier present on these vacuum tiles, the electronic warfare. It stands to reason that you're going to get interference when you are in a field of asteroids. The middle number is the attack value, a 5 in this case, and that 3 at the end is the defense value. Woof. Let's compare this with another one. Yeah, the 656 here looks really strong. And what is this? It's an FF. FF is a Federate frigate. Frigate or frigate? It's another one of those words I never hear in real life. Like the Iron sword or the salmon fish swimming upstream. There are many different units. Viking cruisers, Viking sloops, Federate battle cruisers, Federate escorts, patrol boats, local militia, local horde. Love that the horde is like it's literally a sword. Hordes and swords. Repulsor pods, missile pods, raider detachments. The sector operations code explains where this can go. V meaning vacuum, not for this one. Where was that tank I had? This isn't the tank, but it does have a V for vacuum in the lower right corner. This means that it can only move between touching sectors. It cannot move between unconnected sectors, even if in the same orbital path. The unit cannot be used in deep space sectors, only in vacuum or atmospheric sectors. A is for atmospheric. P is limited interplanetary movement. P is for interplanetary movement. The first P that I said had an asterisk. I didn't think to have to say it, but there it is. S is starship movement. That unit can make hyperspace jumps and can move from sector to sector as desired and can be placed in any type of sector. Starting setup includes information for star system tiles, local defense deployment, Federate forces deployment, Viking forces deployment. The turn procedure explains that each turn represents 1 to 2 months of time, a period of 1 hyperspace jump between stars, plus a week or 2 for battles and cargo handling. The first is the strategic segment. The Federate and Viking players may both move their S operations code units with cargo to new star systems, so basically moving. 2 is the tactical action segment. Star system battles. In each star system with both Viking and Federate controlled units, a separate tactical action segment is played, 1 segment per star system. The Viking player determines the order of segments, and each player is played in rounds of 4 phases: the invader movement phase, the mutual combat phase, the defender movement phase, and another mutual combat phase. There are as many rounds as needed in each segment until the action ends. If neither player is in a star system that has units of the opposing player, there will be no battles and no tactical action segments in the turn. Play goes straight from the strategic segment to the politics and economics segment. This is a very short section, which is so ironic. Both players follow the steps below to resolve political and economic situations. Federation politics, both mandatory and optional. Plunder and taxation, that's the same thing. And repairing damage and new construction. The Viking player has a home base star system outside the playing area. That explains our home base being outside the playing area. There's a hidden movement procedure, general movement rules, tactical action, initial deployment, tactical action movement, mutual combat, planetary movement, combat differential modifiers, sector modifications to combat, evasion, withdrawal, system to surrender, and ending a segment. It's a lot of rules, but it actually looks like they're just large read sections. Not a lot of branching ifs, ands, or buts, which I can appreciate. Like I said, rules dense, but I've come to understand that Arnold Hendricks is a good game designer. So it's mostly likely that this is all packed in to prevent any kind of troubling, ambiguous situation where you're not sure what to do because the rules only imply a solution. Everything here seems like it's totally and completely clear, but if this is a game from your childhood, I would like you to correct me in the comments. Example of a tactical action, the battle for Connacht. During the strategic segment of the turn, the Viking player decided to raid Connacht and moved his cruiser with cargo there. The Federate player has local forces in the system, of course, as well as just moving a Federate escort starship in a strategic movement to stiffen the defenses. And now we have an example of how the tiles might be placed onto the different spaces. I really like that. That's cool. We don't have like an example of how the map is set up. We only have this paragraph. The Federate player shuffles the 12-star system map tiles. He randomly selects 9 or 10, his choice, and announces their names to the Viking player. The remaining 2 or 3 are returned to the box. They are not used in the game. The selected tiles represent the map of the star systems in the outrim quadrant of the game. The Federate player should set up a screen of books or a box to keep them secret from the Viking player until Viking units enter that system. What? That's it? It appears I don't know jack. The politics and economics section is expanded upon here, and it includes depression. In 2,000 years and we can't solve that, huh? All taxes cut in half in all Federate-controlled star systems for this turn. Bloated Confederate bureaucracy. Right here, Ash. Bloated Federate bureaucracy. All Federate, but not local, construction costs are 1 mega credit higher, including the cost of victory points. Civil War, battle cruiser construction program, emergency aid program, the Viking plunder, taxation, use of funds, repairs, new construction. The game is normally 12 turns long, however the game may end sooner in an automatic victory in either of the below situations. The Viking potential victory. If the Viking player takes control of the star system that is the Federation quadrant capital, or had the blue FD unit in it, the Outrim government collapses and the Viking player immediately wins regardless of accumulated victory points. The points victory if either player has a 2-to-1 or better point advantage for 2 consecutive turns, starting no earlier than the 7th turn. That player immediately wins after the second such turn. Therefore, the first 2 turns where this could apply would be the 7th and 8th turns. I would imagine that's because there's not enough turns left in the game to recover from a 2-to-1 ratio. Victory points and victory. Unless an automatic victory occurs at the end of the 12th turn, the player with more victory points is the winner. Remember, victory points can only be bought by the Federate player at 4 mega credits per point, and the Viking at 1 mega credit per point. Accumulated mega credits cannot be used, only freshly received ones. Yeah, basically you're buying your way to victory. So we have all of these different star systems, and I have no idea because I haven't happened upon the spot in the manual with my eyes. You probably saw it while I was flipping through. That explains how exactly this is set up and played, but I'm going to show you these anyway. There are 12 of them, and you'll take either 9 or 10 and take the remaining 2 or 3 and put them back in the box. Well, it actually does say here on the first page. At the start of the game, the Viking player selects his raiding ships and forces while the Federate player lays out the map tiles and deploys his forces. In the game, a sector is equivalent to a square or hex in other games. The die-cut unit counters are deployed in sectors, and when opposing units are in the same sector, battles occur. Yeah, I'm just not sure if like this is normal. I guess if each one is like a tile, then this should be acceptable. Because while these are adjacent in terms of tiles on a board, they are star systems that are very, very far away. So these lines would actually have no meaning then, right? The lines would have no meaning between tiles, that is, right? You'll have to let me know again if this is very, very clear in the book. We wouldn't be laying them out like this. We would probably select, 9 tiles. But then would I lay it out like this? Would I lay it out like, can I lay it out however I want? Or does it matter at all? Perhaps there is no tile adjacency. If you have the capability to travel across star systems, then you basically can just go anywhere. It's probably that last point. It's probably just nothing matters in terms of placement. That is more or less Star Viking. It did not come with the die, but that's okay because it was only supposed to come with 1 d6. Unlike my copy of Barbarian Prince, there are no misprints or anything here that I need to eventually replace or reprint. It's all just great condition, other than the Ziploc, which I'm going to replace right now. That looks like it has machine oil in it. Tool grease. Did this presentation spark any long-lost memories? My favorite comments are the ones that describe play sessions that people have had in their youth. If you have such a story, please relay it down below. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I believe this is one of the games that you can play for free if you search Dwarf Star Games. I know that you can play several of Arnold Hendricks games for free through Reaper Miniatures of all places. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description below, but it takes you directly to a page where you can just print the games off, and then you can play them. You don't sell them. This is for personal use, not commercial. But that's all from me for now, so I bid you a fantastic rest of your interstellar day. That makes no sense. And onward for now. Farewell.